Welcome to BCIS 3347. My name is Dr. Schuessler, and I'll be your professor this semester. I wanted to take an opportunity to kind of show you around our Blackboard shell, show you where things are. Every professor is a little bit different, and so I wanted to kind of show you some of the nuances to the way I've set up our Blackboard shell. Hopefully make your life a little bit easier in terms of trying to get through the semester in this class. So this is our home page right here. Once it's complete, this red part up here will be removed, and you'll know that everything's really pretty much set up the way I want it to be set up. There'll also be this video right here that I'm creating now that'll be linked to right here, and a second video that I'll get to later in the week that'll be posted right here going over the syllabus and the schedule. I also include a Twitter feed on my homepage. You can either choose to follow me or you can just log into Blackboard. I try to post things that I think are job related, things that I think are related to higher education, things that are related to networking, security, things like that. And then the bottom of the homepage covers stuff over help desk, netiquette, and computer use policy. So if you're having any issues, contact the help desk. There's several different things that they can do. They can remote into your system, for example. If you've not had an online class before, you can take the student training. You can check your own computer to make sure that it's ready. If you're not used to interacting with people on the internet, take a look at the netiquette section. It's for the most part common sense, but you need to be professional when you're dealing with your peers and your professors. So take a look at that if you have any questions. And then lastly, the computer use policy. Even though you may be logging in from home or logging in at work, keep in mind you're also logging into Blackboard, which is a Tarleton University system. So keep that in mind. Treat it as if you're logging into a public computer. So that is our home page. I'm going to switch over to student preview mode so it really looks a little bit more like what you might see right now. And then we'll kind of briefly run down our navigation bar over here to the left. So if you want to get back to this page, simply click on home. It'll bring you right back here. That second video that I'll create later in the week will cover these next two items, the syllabus and the schedule. And both of those are Google Docs that are linked. They're set to open up into a new tab. And so you'll be able to check those out. You can check those out right now, but you can check out the video a little bit later in the week. The lessons and lectures here is posted. I'll be honest with you, these are for a previous edition of the text that we're not using anymore. This is the first semester in which we're using this text, and so as a result we haven't had a chance to create new videos just yet. That is kind of a goal to accomplish this semester, but no promises there. It's kind of a time-consuming process to make these videos, but I'll do the best that I can. Assessments are next. These are quizzes that you'll need to take over the course of the semester. They're all already posted. I encourage you to work ahead just to kind of avoid any issues. I don't reset quizzes. If you have a technical issue or you miss one by mistake, you're going to take a 0 on that assignment. For that very reason, though, I drop your lowest 2 quiz scores to try to address that issue. So try to take advantage of that and take every quiz that you can, try to complete them all out. That's why I encourage you to work ahead, just that way in case you have something like a job interview that pops up, you don't end up forgetting about taking the quiz. So work a week or so ahead. That way you're not too far out, you're still engaged in the class. But that's kind of how the quizzes work. The quizzes are all in order, and they'll disappear after the due date and time. So really to just kind of keep this section nice and clean for you. The first couple ones are a little bit different. This very first one is a pretest. If you take the pretest, you're going to get your points regardless of how well or how poorly you do. It's just a way for me to gauge your incoming knowledge coming into the class. You'll take another one at the end of the semester, same deal. You complete it, you'll get your points, and we'll move on from there. Every quiz is password protected with the password TEST, all lowercase. So be sure and do that. Be sure and use that password. It's really just designed to prevent you from accidentally starting the wrong one. So no secrets there. The next one is Assessment 0 or AS0, and this is just one that kind of ensures that you've read through the syllabus. So read through the syllabus, ask any questions that you might have, print it out if you need it, have it open in a second monitor, and then take the quiz. It's not meant to trick you. everybody should get a good grade on that. But like I said, it's just a way to kind of ensure that you've read the syllabus. The next section is homework, and I just posted a video over this, so hopefully that'll kind of help you out there. The very first homework assignment, and we'll get to that here in just a second, it's down here. The very first homework assignment is again a little bit odd relative to the rest of them. It is basically creating a Google folder and sharing that with me, dropping a photo in there, and completing this form. So if you actually click on the assignment, you can come in and you can read those same details there. You can view the rubric to see how you're going to be assessed. So be sure and read through that rubric so you can tell exactly how you're going to be graded. And then just follow those directions. If you have a Google account, great. Go ahead and share that folder with me, or create a folder following the naming convention. Share the folder with me, and giving me edit rights. Do not make me the owner of that folder. I don't want that. But we can go from there, and then complete out the form. So click on that. It's a Google form. Just gives you gives me some information about you. As far as the other homework assignments, like the quizzes, they're already posted as well, and they start up down here. So homework 1 is Lab Sim 1, homework 2 is Lab Sim 2, and I talk about that more here in this informational section here. So our homework is within the test out environment, and so this section in here really tells you more about it. If you want more details about it, simply click on that. That'll bring it up, assuming the video is finished processing. You can watch that and hopefully have a better idea. Get registered for it and get started on your homework. Discussion board is right there. I do make active use of the discussion board, so keep that in mind. There's introductions. I've posted an introduction about myself already. I always like to know a little bit about my professors, so take a look at that. Give us some information about you. So just kind of let us know who's in the class and what the experience level is and all of that kind of stuff. Other discussion board ones where your actual grade's going to come from are down here. I'll get to that here in just a second. This next one is ask the professor and your peers. When you're doing your homework, periodically students will have a problem on a particular lab within test out. If you do, that's a great question to post here to that discussion board. So open up the discussion board, create a thread, and ask the question. Other students have likely either already completed it and can answer your question, or they may be running into the same issue. So let's work collaboratively to be able to do that and be able to answer those questions. As far as a big part of your grade, these other discussion boards, DB1, DB2, etc., are all different components of what used to be a semester project. I've done away with the semester project this semester and broken it down into logical chunks like we're doing here in the discussion board. So I start out with the very first part of what should be your semester project and focused on the logical diagram. So I go through a kind of a scenario. I give you a case to work on, and it's the same case throughout the semester. And I talk about what a logical diagram is and what constitutes a good logical diagram. Then I've provided you with some links to different websites to help you create a good logical diagram. And then I've given you the information about what it is you need to submit and when. So for this example, the logical diagram is actually due on 2/14. Or excuse me, the discussion board is actually due on 2/14. But you need to have your logical diagram completed by 2/7. So keep that in mind. It's due the week before so that you can post it here to the discussion board. What are you going to be posting? You're going to be posting a read-only comments allowed link here in the discussion board to your document, to a Google document that you have. I don't want to posting to a Word document. It needs to be to a Google document. So keep that in mind as well. And then before Wednesday, on or before Wednesday of that week, you need to look at your peers' work and provide them with substantive feedback, something that's really going to help them improve their logical diagram in a meaningful way. If it's just, hey, it looks good, that's not going to suffice. You're not going to get credit for that posting. At the same time, you need to revisit their posts or other posts on or after Thursday, but before the due date and time on Sunday and make another meaningful post. How are you going to be assessed for this? Let's go in over here and take a look. So when you go to create and post your initial link, you're going to create a thread and do it that way. As far as how you're graded, click on grading information and then click right there, and that will bring up the rubric for the discussion board. So when you create your logical diagram, is it just a diagram itself? No, it needs appropriate narrative. Tell us some of the things about your logical diagram that you can't really include in the diagram itself. Why did you make some of the decisions that you made? The flow of the diagram needs to be, kind of flow appropriately. So from the upper left corner down to the right, it needs to have kind of a logical flow and logical groupings to it. Appropriate use of color, icons, configuration information, and so on. You need to create that discussion board appropriately. You need to make your post on or before Wednesday, on or after Thursday, and it needs to be a clickable link set to open into a new window. Students struggle with this one, so I've shown you in the test out video how to do that, but I will show you again here in just a second. Let's see, where do I want to do that? I'll do that right here. I'll go create a thing right down here. So down here, I'm going to type in, let's say DB1 or logical diagram. I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to click the link there, and I'm going to paste my link in right there, and I'm going to set it to open in a new window. That's how you do that. If you end up seeing another text box, you end up having to click Write Submission to be able to get these tools right here. So that is our discussion board. Exams are right here. You're not going to see any right now. It populates when the exam window opens up. Our midterm exam is here in Blackboard. You'll log in here, you'll take that. It can be a combination of essays, multiple choice questions like that. The final exam is actually in the test out environment. It's the same exam that they use for their Network Pro certification exam. And so that's what you're going to be doing. Your certification exam will count as your final exam. So hopefully if you pass the certification, you'll get not only credit as your final exam, but also you'll obtain that Network Pro certification as well. So it's kind of a benefit, a plus to this class. The next section over here is communications. I try to send out announcements once a week. You saw the announcements yesterday go out, so hopefully you'll kind of start to get a feel for that. If you have a question about a specific grade or something like that, you need to ask me a question. Do not send it to me via regular email. I usually ignore those, or I certainly don't respond to those nearly as quickly as I do these messages right here. So if it's a question about a grade or something that's related to the course, send it to me right here in Blackboard. That way everything course related is here in Blackboard. Now you may have noticed you got an email yesterday from the announcement. That's how the system works in Blackboard, but keep in mind that after this first week I don't really respond to those messages. If it's not course related, certainly send me a regular email. That's fine. If you have if you need a recommendation, if you're asking about other courses, I certainly do respond to those. But if it's course related, it needs to be here in Blackboard. I also hold virtual office hours. You'll see that when you look at the syllabus. I try to do those each Tuesday from 11 to 12. Sometimes things pop up. I have to leave early, or something happens. I'm in a meeting. So sometimes I won't make those. If you need another time, let me know. And all you have to do is log into Blackboard, click on the link, and what will open is a Google Hangout, and we can video chat that way. Another method of communication is here through My Grades. And when I say communication, it's really just showing you the different assignments and what's due when, all those kinds of things. So I've tried to go in the same order that I have in the syllabus, if you take a look at that. And for the most part, everything looks good. Everything's set up the way I want it. I will say that these last few items are part of the old grading stuff, so they're not really assigned this semester. So they've got a due date there, but those are from previous semesters. They're not part of this course anymore. I'll have to talk to the Blackboard help desk about getting those removed. There, and then the last grouping is supplemental material. A lot of students like to be able to kind of follow along with PowerPoint slides, so I've dropped them into one of my Blackboard, my Google Drive folders, and posted the shared link there for you, so you can download those if you wish and follow along that way if you want to. I also have a kind of group together various funny videos that I think are somewhat relevant, either to working on papers, things like that, or related to technology in some way, shape, or form. So you'll see those there. If you run into something that you think is particularly funny that is appropriate, send it to me. If I can share it, I certainly will. I also have a variety of social media that I end up using. I've got my own personal website that I have there that's a link directly to my page for this class. Honestly, it's a little bit dated compared to some of the stuff I already have set up in Blackboard, but you can take a look at that. I also have a closed Google Plus learning community if you want to take a look at that. You can follow me if you want, or join the community if you want, but you certainly don't have to. It doesn't get used probably as much as it should, but when I teach a social media class, that's when things kind of heat up a bit. A direct link to my YouTube channel if you want to take a look at that. There's a lot of videos that are posted there. Most of them are related to networking and e-commerce. My Twitter feed, which you've already seen on the home page, but if you want to check that out right there. A LinkedIn link, which I highly encourage you to create a LinkedIn account if you don't already have one, and treat it like a digital resume. The digital media is becoming, social media is becoming much more important in terms of the job market than what it used to be. So it's really important to take social media very, very seriously and use it as a tool to be able to get those jobs and move up in your jobs. I also have a link to recommended books that I've run across. These are books that I've read that I really think are good. I read quite a few books, actually Audible books, if you will, and because I spend so much time in the car. And if it's good enough, I'll come in here and I'll post or add this to my list. So take a look at those. If you're interested in hacking, these first three are particularly relevant. If you're interested more in the history of computing, the history of the internet, these next three, skip one, and then the final one are probably the most appropriate. And then one that's taking a look at Steve Jobs, which is a particularly well done book. And then the last two are really just kind of more for interest than anything else. This next one is over Learning Style. Some of you have already completed this, and so you can see the results of the learning style of the class. You can see that most of you prefer observational learning, so external stimuli and demonstrations and diagrams. So this is why test out is particularly appropriate. It includes lots of simulations, lots of demonstrations, lots of diagrams, lots of external stimuli. So it's a great tool again, and that's probably why we have such positive feedback from students. Also measure your personality, just to kind of take a look. And it looks like for the most part we tend to be more open than anything else, and we tend to be less neurotic than anything else, so that's probably a good thing. Lastly, we have course evaluations. In the past, when I've taught this course, I do kind of an informal assessment. This is not part of the university's assessment. I encourage you to do both mine and the university's. The university needs their data as well. But I'm trying to kind of accumulate this data over various semesters so I can kind of compare and contrast. So take a look at this if you want. You can kind of see what previous students have felt about this course in the online environment, and you can see their answers to various questions. If you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see text answers that they've responded to, and you can see based on that they really kind of like test out for the most part. So that is our course shell in a nutshell. Again, if you want to get back to the home page, simply click right there. It takes you back to the home page, and that's it. I'm really looking forward to this semester. I love networking. It's a really cool class. My course shell is pretty well developed, pretty much the way I like it now. If you have any suggestions, certainly let me know. I'm always trying to tweak it and improve it. But I'm looking forward to a great semester and can't wait to get further in. Take care. If you have any questions, let me know. Have a good one.